Did anyone else struggle so hard with coming to terms with the fact that this book actually ends? We gotta talk about my rating. All right, today is a big day. We are starting Alchemised, and I really don't know what I'm in for. Should I be scared? A little background information before we get started so you can understand my perspective into this book. I have not read any of the Harry Potters. I love the films. I know. I'm one of those people. So I'm coming into this with pretty fresh eyes. Obviously, I've also not read Manacled, which is the original story behind Alchemized, but it couldn't be published as such because it was a Harry Potter fan fiction. I do want to get the maximum experience for this book, so I have the Audible and the physical copy, so you know that means I'm going to be immersive reading. So yeah, let's sit outside and start this book. My little one just woke up from his nap, so I'm going to take a little break from the book. So far for progress, we are 2% in. Now keep in mind that this is a 36-hour long audiobook. So 2% into that, we're on page 18. I'm trying to go slow to really make sense of the pieces because right now our main character has just woken up and is being interrogated over where she's been because there's a gap in her timeline. I'm also trying to make sense of this new magic system. There's little references and little pieces. The magic in this book is alchemy based, and those who can tap into alchemy are said to have resonance or something like that. She's been captured. There is a reference to a war that has been going on. Apparently it's already over. Apparently bad people won the war. The person interrogating her tried to use some magic to just read her mind, but it appears to be that her mind is blocked in some sort of way or was manipulated to protect or like put some sort of barrier in place. So the interrogator is very intrigued by this magic, very impressed by it, and wants to study what was done to her. So yeah, that's pretty much as far as I've gotten. She's also made contact with another captive called Grace, and apparently in order to create disinterest between them and their captors, Grace has been scratching up her face to the point where she is very scarred. So already we are getting really, really dark. So yeah, again, not sure what I'm getting into, but I can tell that it's already living up to its hype of being a dark fantasy. I'm gonna go get my little one and switch to mom duty, but I will pop back on shortly. Oh, I needed that so bad. You guys do not even know how bad I needed that. I can do this now. I really think that this peach flavor of Alani is my favorite non-seasonal flavor. Otherwise, Winter Wonderland is my all-time favorite. Hands down, zero competition. Reading update, let me grab the book. Right. I have officially made a dent. And by dent, I mean I've read this much. And this is 136 pages exactly, 13% into the book. We have definitely met our main male character. I understand what this symbol means unless there's a deeper understanding that we uncover later in the book. But this symbol has been mentioned several times. I'm already developing theories, okay? I'm feeling a certain way about this Shiseo character. I'm on to you. I think there's more, and I'm very suspicious at the fact that he keeps getting referred to as a traitor. Like, is that just a way to throw us off his scent? Is he actually a traitor? Could he be a mole for perhaps the Eternal Flame or, you know, the Resistance in some fashion? So I have been doing a combo of immersive reading and listening to the audiobook. I will say that initially, I don't think that this book is exclusively audiobook friendly, at least not the first 100 pages, because at least for me, I needed to give it my undivided attention to try to piece together this world, because obviously we're out of sync in the timeline, and also though, it is a whole new world, a whole new magic system to learn, and there's various characters that keep popping in and out. So I felt like I couldn't be distracted by doing something whenever I was trying to listen to it while doing a mindless task like the kitchen or laundry. I found myself constantly starting the chapter over because I would get to a point where I'm like, I'm not sure I really comprehend what's going on, or I think I missed something. And so I decided to just sit down and immersive read. I would say once you hit chapter 7, which is page 103, then I felt more comfortable with the world and the characters moving in and out of the plot, that I was able to listen to the audiobook and do some mindless tasks. And that mindless task that I am tackling is reorganizing my closet. Wait guys, wait, before you click away, I'm not gonna take you through the whole process, okay? I saw the stats for my reset video. All right, I get it. I don't think resets and like cleaning things is gonna be for my audience, but I am just gonna pop in and out to give brief updates. But just so you guys know, that is what I'm doing while I'm listening to the audiobook. I am gonna do a before, in between, and after update of the closet, but that's it. I'm not gonna do a time lapse of it because I don't think that is very fun to watch. Plus it's just insanely embarrassing because my closet is in such a shameful state. I'm quite literally airing my dirty laundry on the internet. So yeah, that happened. Anyways, before I talk too much and lose you guys, this is the before state of my closet. Okay, yeah, pretty bad. I don't know how I find anything to wear, quite frankly. But the good news is the past hour, I went through my closet and got a pile of clothes that I'm going to donate, shoes that I have to throw away, they're not donatable, and just general junk in my closet. So let me show you the in-between state. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can even tell, but this is better. This is progress. We're nowhere near the finish line yet, but I'm going to tackle this and we'll be done with it by the end of the week. And wishful thinking, maybe halfway through, I almost said manacled, maybe halfway through Alchemized. Real quick, I'm so sorry. I forgot to mention, or maybe I mentioned it in the intro, but I didn't go into enough detail about it because I'm actually buddy reading Alchemized. So I've got a support system in place for my mental health as I go into this book, but I just wanted to give a shout out to my gorgeous reading buddies. I'm gonna do something cute over here, hopefully. Thank you for braving this read with me. Alani to the rescue. What can I say? All right, so it's time for a reading update. I think it's been a couple of days since my last check-in with you guys. I've been making some steady progress. We have about this much read, which is the 30% mark. I'm officially on part 2 of the book. I'm literally at the part where now when I look at this symbol, I'm looking at it while squinting so I can try to see a certain deeper meaning, which if you've read Alchemized, then you know exactly what I'm referring to. Chapter-wise, I am on 25. Bestie Sarah did give everyone involved in this buddy read a Alchemized bookmark, and it says, "You're like a rose in a graveyard," with a red tassel. It's literally so perfect. In terms of my thoughts on the book so far, it is without a doubt a dark fantasy. I was listening to it on my lunch break yesterday and it hit a moment where I just lost my appetite, let's put it that way. But so far I haven't encountered anything that is giving me pause. I still have a pretty good hold on my headspace. This book hasn't completely taken over that yet, but I do feel like by the time I finish this book, it will become a story that stays with me forever, that I reflect and think on for the rest of my life. Very much enjoying the structure of the story, but you pretty much have to give it your undivided attention. One thing that I really wish this book included was a freaking glossary. Like, please do a reprinting of this with a glossary. Please do that for those of us who are struggling. I will buy that edition. Plot-wise, I am at the part where we are now going 4 years back in time. So I'm finally gonna learn what happened during the war. I'm very eager to get that part of the story. I'm really enjoying our FMC Helena. She is so strong to be going through and enduring this. She is so incredibly very smart. So as you guys know, while I'm reading this, I'm trying to reorganize my closet, and I'm now at the point where it makes sense to build some organization structures. I'm going to build a shoe rack and some sweater racks while I listen to the book. So that's what I'll be doing until our next check-in. Okay, closet done. I'm very happy with the outcome. Yes, it could use a little bit more organization, but it is 100% better than what it used to be, and at least now there is some sort of system in place. So very happy with that. It took me about an hour. Within that time span, I listened to 5 chapters, which equates to 47 pages. Now, also within that time span, I did have to re-listen and restart some chapters because now that we're going back in time and we are right smack in the middle of the war, there continues to be world building. And so I replayed those parts to make a mental note of how the world is growing and expanding. Now we have some new enemy creatures. The Chimera or something like that has been introduced. Cain Varen and Helena have started their meetings. It's been very interesting to see how their initial relationship has started. And y'all, we are finally approaching the middle. Did I mention that this book is 1,024 pages? So the fact that we are almost at the middle feels like such an achievement. I'm really trying to get this book finished by the end of next week. I am going away this weekend to see some family, so yeah, not really sure how much reading I'm gonna be able to get done this weekend, but a girl is gonna try. Hey guys, I almost feel like I should be saying welcome back because it's been quite some time since I picked up the camera. It's actually been a week. So I did in fact go see my sister and her family, and I've had a very busy and long work week. So just really haven't had time to pick up the camera, but I have been reading, or should I say devouring, Alchemised this whole entire time. So reading update, I am officially on part 3. I am on chapter 66. Y'all, this book, we're going to talk about it in a second, but just to show a visual, we have about 167 pages left until we finish, and I don't even know where to start. Like, where do I begin to describe how I feel about this book? Not to be dramatic, but I'm not entirely sure how to separate my soul from this book. We've entered that level of obsession. I remember looking at how many pages I had left before it was finished, and I just felt so much anxiety because I don't want it to end, which is not the way I thought I was going to feel about this book at all. Even with some of my 6-star rated books, I have felt this eagerness to finish because either one, I have this fear that the shoe's gonna drop and I just want to know what happens. I have like this false sense of safety that's going on, and I just have this overwhelming sense of doom that I'm in a rush to get to just be like, okay, are they really safe? Like, is this really going to be a happy ending, or am I just gonna get completely wrecked at the end? I remember when I was reading Kingdom of Ash, which is the last book in the Throne of Glass series, I flew through that book. I mean, that book is almost 1,000 pages, I want to say. It's like 800 something. You know what? It's right here. I can just tell you. And I know that this is not a TOG vlog at all, but if you know me, all roads lead to Throne of Glass. So it is what it is. Oh, it's more. I'm wrong. Okay, it's actually 980 pages. So yeah, but I think I finished this book in 5 days or less. And I've been reading Alchemised for, oh my gosh, I've been reading Alchemised for exactly 13 days. But let me just say, and this is probably obvious, my experience of reading The Kingdom of Ash and my experience of reading Alchemized is they're so different. Like I said, I blew through this book. I was very eager to get to the end, but with Alchemized, I have crawled my way through this book. Normally, if I'm doing immersive reading or listening to an audiobook, I will listen to it at like 1.7 to sometimes 2x speed. I've mentioned this several times, but for Alchemized, I have listened to it at 1.2x speed, sometimes 1.5x. The majority of the time it's been 1.2. And I think that that is really speaking to the level of complexity within the plot and the structure of the story, but I mean that in the best way possible. Alchemized, for me, has been a very cerebral read, which I was not expecting from this dark fantasy. The execution of the story thus far has been extremely clever, extremely well thought out. The structure of the timelines. I love that the author leads the readers to put the pieces of the puzzle together to really fully appreciate the plot. The plot is so rich. I can just tell that it's one of those books where once you finish it, despite how long this book is, I can already tell I immediately want to go back and read it again, because the story is so rich that when you do a reread, it is going to be a different experience altogether than from the first time that you picked up the book. That is such an incredible talent and achievement to write a story that is not only rereadable, but that offers different experiences every time that you read it. I know I'm giving a lot of praise to Alchemized so far. I have no idea how it's gonna end. I'm not even hoping for a certain type of ending. I'm just purely enjoying the story. I purposefully did not wear mascara today because we are most definitely finishing Alchemized today. I took some time off so we could sit here and enjoy. According to the audiobook, I only have 4 hours left in the book. I think I'm gonna finish that a little bit earlier because I'm gonna be doing immersive reading. But oh my god, I am so far gone for this book. I think that this is just gonna stay a part of me forever. I don't know. And I really can't tell if this is a typical reaction to Alchemized or not, because though I'm buddy reading, everyone in the club is literally heads down trying to tackle this beast of a book, that there really hasn't been that much dialogue or discussion to it yet. I feel like once we're all finished, then I'll really get a feel for where everyone's at. I'm obviously gonna reserve my rating for the end, but I think you guys know where I'm leaning. Anyways, I am sort of beating around the bush to picking this back up because, guys, I'm on part 3. I'm on part 3, which dumps you right back to where part 1 ended, which is a crazy revelation that just happened. I'm just feeling all the feels of this book. I've caught you guys up on where I'm at. So I guess now it's time to actually finish. Did anyone else struggle so hard with coming to terms with the fact that this book actually ends? Did anyone else have that struggle? Enough procrastinating, I guess. This story is so insane. I'm tearing up and literally nothing sad happened yet. It's just the realization of, it's so hard to talk about without giving spoilers, but it's essentially you realizing just how heartbreaking the first part of the book was for a certain character. And you were completely missing that perspective until you got to part 2. And so now I'm at part 3. It's piecing everything together and it's really making my heart break for this character because I couldn't imagine the sheer living hell for this character. Just have a feeling I'm gonna need those. Oh my god. Jeez. Oh my god, I didn't think something good could possibly happen. That's shocking. Not a major difference maker, but yeah, that was just oddly satisfying moment in chapter 71. Also, quick note, we have just under 100 pages left. get super anxious. Try not to look at the last page. I can tell there's definitely artwork there, but try not to look. The trepidation is real. Oh gosh, these chapters are getting shorter and shorter. Ooh. Okay, I've been sat here for like 2.5 hours, and I think I've reached my limit of being uncomfortable. So yeah, I'm gonna move and actually get comfortable for the last 40 or so pages. I think I deserve that. Okay, so much better. As usual, and probably like anyone who's finished Alchemised, oh, you definitely need to process. I'm left feeling a little angry. I feel a little furious, to be honest, by the ending, but it is so unfortunately realistic to the aftermath of war and forgotten people and heroes and truth. It is a huge, huge statement about war in general. I don't know. I need to sleep on it, honestly. While some events in the ending are satisfying, the actual ending is so not. It's actually so angering, but so real and so valid and probably so true. Probably relevant to any war ever. So I guess well done for that. I'm gonna sleep on it. I'll come back in the morning with more clarity around my thoughts and maybe even a rating. Okay, it's been over 24 hours since I have finished this book, and we gotta talk about my rating because I posted this short. This is me before reading Alchemised, and this is me finishing Alchemised. And does that look like the face of someone who just read a 5-star book? No, it doesn't. But that got me thinking, because this is 100% for me a 5-star read. Can a book that makes you really angry be a 5-star book? That's up to you. Without giving away any spoilers, was I happy with the way that the book ended? I struggle with answering that question because I get what Senlin Yu was trying to do with this ending. The overall statement in this is that history is written by the victors. There's also this theme of blurred lines between the good side and the bad side and the people caught in between. It is a story about war, love, loss, grief, torture, and an extraordinary love story that is just absolutely heart-wrenching at times. Once you have both perspectives of the parties, it is devastating. The ending is very realistic to how I imagine many people feel coming out of a war. There are injustices that are done. The story also pushes the messaging of you really can't have it all. You need to pick what matters to you most. Is it glory? Is it justice? Is it happiness? Is it peace? And what are you willing to sacrifice to get it? Because you cannot have it all. For this story being so rooted in fantasy, I was very surprised at how realistic the ending felt and how it just made me reflect on victims of war in general. So I hope that explains my almost exasperated look in that short. But nonetheless, Alchemised is 100% a 5-star read for me. It was painful for me to put this down. When I did put it down, my headspace never left Palladia. In terms of how dark of a fantasy this is, there are very dark themes, but they are done, if you could imagine, in a very tasteful way. As tasteful of a way as you can when making your main characters go through some of the things that they had to endure so that the reader doesn't feel too traumatized and is able to carry on. My overall mental state while reading Alchemised was I just felt like I perpetually had a heavy heart. I felt many times on the verge of tears. There were some tears that were shed, but in a controllable manner, and many times I felt completely gutted. I fear I will always ache whenever I see this book on a bookshelf or anyone reading it, and I think that that is a testament to the writing and the story and 100% the way that ended. This was a book that reminded me that reading is and always will be subjective. As I mentioned, I did buddy read this. I'm still waiting on some official ratings from them, but just based off of conversations and comments so far, it seems like I had the strongest reaction to it so far. So yeah, this book is a little bit of a mixed bag. Perusing some of the reviews, it seems like there's a fair share of DNFs. To be fair, you know, it is over 1,000 pages. So if you're not feeling it, you know, after reading 200 pages, fair point. DNF by all means. But for me, I personally could have read 1,000 more. Again, that's also how I know that this was a 5-star. So if you have read Alchemised, please let me know what you thought about it. Thank you so much if you made it all the way to the end of this video. I'll see you next time. Bye.